Well, good evening on this Christmas Eve. I could not resist, people. I could not. First of all, I hope everybody's having a safe and blessed holiday. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And remember the reason for the season. But for myself, a big sports fan like myself, I could not resist not having a holiday edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. We're going to get to it right away. Listen, what a fun-filled day of action in the NFL. But I'd be remiss if I did not recognize some of the heartbreak that took place today. First, starting out in Tennessee. Tennessee, I don't think anybody had Tennessee on the radar today. This year. And it came down to Week 16 with them having a playoff hopes, playoff chances, and going into a game today against Jacksonville. Not only did they lose, but they lost their future quarterback for the remainder of the season to a broken leg. You never want to see anyone's season end in that way. Mariota has been pretty good and consistent for this team all year, and it's just a bad way to end the season. Not only to end your playoff hopes, but also to lose your star quarterback. Really not a way to end the season. Wish him nothing but the best in the offseason and hope that he gets himself into good shape so that he can be back for training camp when season starts. With that said, Jacksonville gets the upset win to derail the hopes of Tennessee's playoff chances. On another note, very similar to what took place to Mariota, you've heard me say it on this show, nothing but respect for the Oakland Raiders and nothing but respect for Derek Carr. I thought Derek Carr was clearly a top 3 MVP candidate. To watch his season go down, what turns out now to be a broken fibula, chances are he's done for the remainder of the season. He's probably going to miss the playoffs. This is really a crushing blow, a devastating blow to the Oakland brass, to the Oakland team, to the Oakland fans, and to Derek Carr himself. He was having a magnificent season in his young career. It looks like they were ready to take this team to new heights, to an area that they hadn't seen in maybe 13 years. And it's just an awful blow to Derek Carr, to the franchise, to the team, to the fans. And who knows? With modern technology, maybe he gets there if they happen to make a run to the Super Bowl. But I believe he's a big part of this success and a big part of them going to the Super Bowl. Wish him nothing but the best. Hate to see his season end like this. But Derek Carr suffers what appears to be a broken fibula. What a crushing blow to these two young quarterbacks who had sensational seasons. Mariota in Tennessee and Derek Carr in Oakland. Here's the good thing about the Raiders, though. They should clinch first round bye. So it'll give them enough chance to work on their backup quarterback, get him up to speed, get him enough reps so that this way, hopefully he can continue some of the winning ways that was led by this Derek Carr team. But what a crushing blow. But in other action, there was lots of it. And I have to start with the winless Cleveland Browns. In Week 16, they get their first win of the season. And it was led by RG3, who was sacked by 7 times and knocked out of the game for concussion. I want to say this. I don't ever want to get in front. Hey sis, what's going on, Tassi? I appreciate you tuning in. I see you. Merry Christmas. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, or nor do I want it to seem like I'm Donald Downer. But what I do want to say is this. There's a lot of people in professional sports that seem to be injured quite often. And sometimes you worry about the person more so than the person's game. And in this case here, I'm looking at RG3. This guy has a load of talent. Could be a successful quarterback in this game. Could be one of the better quarterbacks in this game. But he never seems to be healthy. I mean, he just got back last week, and already he's knocked out of the game for a concussion protocol. He was sacked 7 times. You know, between him and I say Romo, I'm going to have to say, I recommend that those two hang it up. As talented they may be, and some of the success that they endure, and I know it'd be tough on RG3 because he's a little bit younger than Romo, but I think that is so much to life than to just football. There's an afterlife. They both have made some decent money where they should be able to be secure for years to come. But the question remains, is it worth going out there all the time, risking your body, your health, when you always seem to be injured? If there's two players I recommend to stay away from the game on the field, that is playing, it's RG3 and Romo. RG3 literally can't catch a break. Literally. But anyway, Cleveland gets their win today. They avoid being winless for the season. For the time being, they are 1-14, and San Diego is the team that they beat. And I'm gonna tell you something. You've heard me say it on my shows. I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan for games like this. There's no reason why in a stadium that is about 70% empty, the only person there is LeBron James. And if he gets there early enough next week, he might have to suit up. But here's the thing. You have to win this game, Phillip Rivers. There's no way you come out a loser. You know that they're going to play this game like it's a Super Bowl. They don't want to go 0-16. But again, Phillip Rivers, who I believe is a bit overrated, and failed to get the job done against a winless team. I just don't bear witness to that. But getting that out the way, Cleveland gets their win. Good for them. But let's get to some good stuff now. Oh, there's a caller. I'll take that later. But get into the good stuff. Matt Ryan and Atlanta Falcons take their act on the road, and they go down to Carolina, and they remember what took place a year ago when Carolina was 14-0, came down to Atlanta, into the Dome, and Atlanta stopped that winning streak by putting their first loss of the season up on the board. So they were prepared just in case they tried to do that to them, as try to be playoff spoilers and so forth, because this is spoilers week. This is spoilers week. But I got to give credit to Matt Ryan. And this is Matty Ice. Matty Ice, 27 for 33, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had his way all day. He had his way all day against the Carolina Panthers. He had his way against them. And the running game was just as great. I mean, what they ran for 153 yards, Coleman was 9 for 90. 9 for 90. Phenomenal numbers. Phenomenal numbers. They just had their way. Cam Newton throwing interceptions. He was 14 for like 43 or something like that. Just struggled the whole game. Man, what a finish to this season. But Matt Ryan looked like Matty Ice. And you know my motto. Stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And tonight, or today I should say, Matt Ryan played like a star. And I'm going to tell you, if this is an indication of what Atlanta's going to look like going further, going into this playoff, they're going to be a tough out. They're going to be tough to beat. That was a good look for Atlanta today. They came out there very, very aggressive from the start, got the 33-16 win. The defense was all over Carolina. Again, Cam Newton, under pressure, under duress, threw 2 interceptions, 14 for 43 or 14 for 45. That's just not going to get it done. That's poor percentage, completion percentage. Just not going to get it done. Just terrible numbers. But kudos to the Falcons. And on top of that, they clinched the division because, again, spoilers week, Tampa Bay fails to get the job done against the New Orleans Saints as Drew Brees and company goes ahead and get the victory against Tampa Bay. Hey, shout out to my cousin Lisa as she wishes me a Merry Christmas. I appreciate the love. Merry Christmas to you and your fam. Hope to see you soon. But once again, Atlanta clinches their division, and they may be on the verge of having a second seed as Seattle was struggling in a tight game with Arizona. Last that I looked, it was 31-31 with a minute left. They may be going into overtime. All right, let's respond to my sister. She said Cam Newton is overrated. Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna say he's overrated. I just think that he's a brat and does not know how to respond to adversity. I mean, here's a guy that's probably been a winner everywhere he's went. The game was probably easy for him. He probably was the talk of the team, the talk of the town, the talk of the locker room. And now with his flamboyancy and his skill sets, people are coming up to him and giving him a tough game, and they're bringing it to him. And I think he just doesn't know how to respond. I wouldn't necessarily say he's overrated, but I can see where you're going with that. But more importantly, I just think he's a brat and doesn't know how to deal with adversity. And you know, that's kind of popular among today's athletes that are brand. They think that they're untouchables. They think that they need to have their way. It's all about them. You know, they have become, the player in their minds have become bigger than the games that they play in. That employs them. Think about that for a second. That employs them. You know, Cam Newton comes to the game. Most of his outfits is just outrageous. I wouldn't be caught dead in his outfits. But hey, he can pull it off. He's 6'5" with a lot of money. Been to the Super Bowl. He can pull it off. But I wouldn't say he's overrated. But I would say he's a possible spoiled brat. But moving along, though, again, Atlanta, they clinched the division. Tampa Bay, you know, Jameis Winston, I have a lot of respect for him. I look at him as one of those young quarterbacks that in the very near future could be the talk of the league. There's something missing in his game. I don't know what it is. It's something missing in his game. It could be a couple of things. It could be that he doesn't know how to run for the necessary yardage that he may need, or he may not know when to run, or he just may lack at this early age in his career. He may lack the clutch gene. This was in grasp for him. They were hot. They won 5 in a row. As I've said on many of my shows, they weren't in the rearview mirror of the Atlanta Falcons. All of a sudden they appeared. They won 5 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. He's got to go down and win this game against Seattle. I mean, not Seattle, New Orleans. He has to win this game against New Orleans. It is very important that they win this game. Now, they're out of it. At 8-7, they're going to need a lot of help. With Washington getting a big win against Chicago today to keep their playoffs alive, they jump ahead. They jump ahead of Tampa Bay. So that hurts Tampa Bay with Washington's win. And again, Tampa Bay, they had this in their grasp. Okay, I can understand going into Jerry World last week and having a tough game on the road and possibly losing that game, which they did. But they have to win this game. And again, stars have to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And in this case here, Winston didn't play like, Jameis didn't play like a star, and maybe he's not there yet. Maybe we're jumping the gun on him. But I do believe his future is bright. I do believe his future is bright. Moving right along, Miami, they avoided spoilers week by getting a win in overtime, getting a field goal. But can you say enough about the job of this running back, J.I.? I might be pronouncing his name wrong, and I apologize. But J.I. in overtime, he takes a 57-yard handoff and just he takes the handoff and runs for 57 yards to set up the winning field goal. He finished with 200 yards for the third time this season in a game. What a tremendous game by this young man to help Miami. And here's the thing. For the Oakland Raiders fans, there's hope for you. Tannenhill went down 2 weeks ago. Matt Moore has come in. It's not that he's looked great in both games. Yeah, against the Jets, he had 4 touchdowns. But in this game here, he did enough to hold down the fort. He did enough to prevent them from losing the game. And sometimes that's all you have to do. But in this case here, a J.I., again, over 200 yards, a huge 57-yard run from the line of scrimmage on the handoff. Just a tremendous job, a tremendous effort, putting this team in a position to win on a field goal. Miami's one of the hottest teams out there. I'm going to tell you something. I don't see them as being this team that can get there, but I don't know if anybody wants to play them. They are playing some exceptional ball. They're hot at the right time. They're winning 7 of their last 8. They're getting the job done, and they have a legitimate running game, which is key. A legitimate running game. If J.I. can continue to run the ball and help Miami secure some of the time of possession to keep some of these high-powered offenses off the field, it could be a benefit to this team. And they could be a tough out. So Miami, they avoided spoilers week. I know Rex Ryan would have loved to have this game. He gave it everything that he had, but they came up short in overtime at home, which sets up perhaps maybe the hot seat bowl next week between Todd Bowles and Rex Ryan as the Jets and Buffalo clash for the final game of the season. And speaking of the Jets, what a horrific performance they put on today. I want to know, why did you even show up? 41-3. Inquiring minds like to know. 41-3. This is spoilers week. Give an effort. Give an effort. Make it close. 41-3. The only good thing that comes out of there, you don't ruin your chances at high draft picks in every round in the upcoming draft in 2017. Because that's what the future is based off of right now. Is what kind of draft picks that you can secure. Whether it's with Todd Bowles or not. This is just an awful performance. And kudos for Todd Bowles for, going to the hospital, getting himself checked out, not sure what it was, and making it in time to rejoin the team. But if you knew what I knew, you probably would have stayed and got yourself some good health, get rest, because this was awful. To come back to this, to rush yourself out of the hospital to a 41-3 debacle, just despicable. Just despicable. So it looks like the Jets is going to end their season come next week against the Buffalo Bills. We've seen this last year. The Bills beat them. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but they might be better off losing so that they can secure a higher position in the draft. They need to be top 4 in every round. That's what they need. They need to be top 4 in every round. Oh, there's a phone call there. Hold on 1 second, guys. There's a call on the line. Who's on the line?
What's going on? It's Greg the Guru.
Greg the Guru, what's going on? This is your weekend. You call spoilers week. How you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Hey, man, let's get this out the way.
Okay.
Derek Carr breaks his leg.
Broken fibula. That's literally that's tough on Oakland. I mean, their season was so promising. I had them going deep into the playoffs, possibly Super Bowl. This might derail that trip. Man, I'm sorry, but just devastating loss for them.
Yeah. It's devastating for them, man. I couldn't believe it, man. I said, man, I would like to see them in the playoffs. I would like to see them. They're going to be in there, but they don't have a chance without him, man.
It's going to be tough. I'm not sure who's the backup quarterback. I saw him come out there, but I don't remember seeing him playing anywhere else. And, I was making reference to Miami. When Tannehill went down, at least Matt Morris come in and held down the fort for 2 games in a row. I don't know if this guy can do the same.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't think so, but it's over with for them on that side.
It's going to be tough, Greg. It's going to be tough. So, did you have a question?
What do you think, man? What do you think about tomorrow? What do you think as far as let's get a ball ball? You know I'm going to ask you about that. That's a big game.
I'm gonna tell you this. Pittsburgh is getting hot right at the right time. I'm not really high on their defense, but it's been playing decent as of late. They've been getting better performances out of their defensive players. But the killer bees on offense is still going to be a problem. At any time, you got Bell who can go for 125 yards plus. You have Antonio Brown who can go for 125 plus. And Big Ben is proven. He's proven. So, and this is his time. So I can see him making a big difference out there. So it's going to be tough. Hey, my man, I see Mel. He says second seed, rise up, Bird Gang. And, great win by Atlanta. Hey, Mel, if you get the chance, give us a call. Great win by Atlanta. What can you say about that? But getting back to your thoughts is that Pittsburgh is definitely going to be a tough team to beat. I think they beat Baltimore tomorrow, but it should be a good game.
Okay, all right.
So what do you think?
I think it's going to be hard, man. I really do, because, just for the record that we have with these guys, the battles that we got with these guys, I don't know, I think they beat us something like 3-4 times in a row, something like that.
Okay.
And, it's going to be a dog fight, These are guys that, you want to see, but you don't want to see.
Right.
Well, we know we got to see them. We always see them. So, the one thing I like about the game is that nobody can trick anybody. Because both teams know each other.
Right.
So that's why you're going to get nothing but straight up football with this type of game. So
it should be fun. I like Pittsburgh. They're at home. It should be a good game, Greg. Should be a good game.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. But yeah, that's all, man. That's all I wanted to holler at you about.
All right. Well,
and enjoy your holiday, man.
Well, as always, Greg, I appreciate you calling. I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and all the best. I'm going to take this call.
Okay.
All right, one. Got a call on the line. Who's calling?
This is Mel.
Mel, where you calling from?
Man, I'm calling straight from the England, the NFC South, man. Your boy dominated Carolina. My boy Greg said we was going to lose this weekend. I was trying to tag him, man. I think he blocked me or something, man. But hey, man, I'm happy right now. I'm just happy. I feel great. We in it, man. We in it.
I tell you what, if you've been following this show, my motto is this: stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And today, Matt Ryan was Matty Ice once again. I believe he was 26 for 33, threw for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was magnificent. There's no other way to describe it.
Ridiculous, man.
It really was.
He had about 43 attempts. I think he only completed how many?
Cam Newton was 14 for 43, I believe it is.
14 for 43. Now, is that Atlanta What do you think about that one?
You know what? Here's the thing. I don't think Atlanta's defense gets the credit that it deserves, or it should, because it's so overshadowed by the Atlanta offense. Now, don't get me wrong. This ain't the Baltimore Ravens of the Ray Lewis days. No, it's not that. But I just think that the Atlanta defense is a little better than what some of us give it credit for, and that includes myself. It played well. It was a game that they had to have, and I think that the Atlanta team in general, Mel, and you're a fan and a huge fan of Atlanta. I think they went into this game with the mindset of what took place a year ago, last year this time, when Carolina came to the Dome 14-0, and Atlanta spoiled that. So, I think they had that in their mind. Are they going to look to return the favor? I tell you what, if they did, they didn't do a very good job, because Cam Newton was under duress. 14 for 43 is not from a star quarterback. That's something of a backup quarterback.
And, I'm not a big Cam Newton fan, but I actually feel bad for the guy because, seeing him play is like, he's just better than the way he's playing right now, man. I mean, the inaccuracy, it seems like he's going backwards. He's becoming more inaccurate. I mean, he threw so many passes that just weren't there for him receivers.
Right before you posted second seed, my sister, who see a lot of Carolina games, she posted, and if you look on the thread, she said Newton is overrated. Now, I'm not gonna go far as that, but her thoughts and what you're saying kind of coincides with one another. I just think that he's a brat and does not know how to respond to adversity.
Now, what we talked about the other day when I said, if I say anything about another sports team or whatever, or about another player, I'm going to give you my reasons, correct? Now, the reason I think Cam is overrated is because what Cam has shown me over the last year, and even previous years before this, but really just in the last year in general, which I kept saying, which you heard me, Cam Newton in Carolina is not a second half team. I have not seen that from him yet.
Okay.
As far as finishing, like really finishing, yeah, I don't see no domination in the second half unless it's just a weak team.
Hey, you may be right. It's not a good look for a team that was 15-1, went to the Super Bowl, and is going to probably finish the season 6-10, best case 7-9, and really never look like the team of a 7-9 team. Really look like a team that was about 3-4 wins. I'm not sure what the plan is for the Carolina going forward, but they need to get it together.
They'll finish 7-9 because they're going to beat Tampa Bay this weekend coming up. And like I said, what I've been saying about Tampa Bay, I like Jameis Winston. I like what he brings to the team as far as energy-wise and a good positive leader. But at the same time, Jameis Winston, man, he just, he's not going to be able to lead that team where people think he's going to be able to lead that team. He capitalizes off of mistakes. The mistakes that don't help you down the road. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I've been saying these past weeks when they've been winning their games. I'm like, hey, they only win these games because, they catching lucky breaks. Every game they won, their little 4 or 5 game winning streak was because the team was turning over the ball all the way up to the Saints. And then they went to face the Cowboys. The Cowboys dominated them. And then they went to face the Saints again, and the Saints dominated them because the Saints didn't turn the ball over this time. You see what happens when they finally face two teams that did not turn the ball over.
Right. Let me ask you this, Mel, because I've been on record, and I'll repeat it. I think he's a young talent that's only going to get better, and he's going to be one of those quarterbacks in the near future that we're going to talk about on a daily basis.
Right.
But for right now, A, he may not just be ready, and B, I think he lacks a clutch gene. What are your thoughts on that?
You say he lacks the clutch gene?
Clutch gene. He don't.
Of course, exactly. See, it's not that. He has the drive to want to win the game, but Jameis Winston doesn't have the patience.
Okay.
And when I say the patience, when it comes down, for example, today, they pushed him out of the pocket, but he didn't really have any pressure on him. he escaped, and he's going to do a Hail Mary down the field, and that was an interception, wide open to nobody.
And
the opposite team.
And you know what? I also mentioned this, and I've seen it where he has that little Ben Roethlisberger in him where he can escape and extend the play. But I think that he needs to turn upfield and run for the yardage because
that's what he needs to do. I'm surprised he doesn't do it.
He doesn't do it. And to me, I think he looks to pass too long or too much when sometimes he's throwing bad passes, to your point. But sometimes he could just pick up the extra 4 or 5 yards, 6 yards, and maybe even the first down. And for some reason, he refuses to run. Now, don't get me wrong. He's not a quick guy, but he's a big, strong guy that he probably can. Yeah, he could probably knock somebody over for 2 yards. Or if you try to take him down, you try to take him down, he could drag you for 2 yards. So I would like to see him not look to run, but pick his spots to run. Kind of like Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott. They know how to pick their spots to run. And I think that Jameis Winston is going to have to learn how to do that instead of forcing errant passes.
Right. I 100% agree with you on that.
Sure.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Well,
but, I mean, like I said, but throughout now, I do feel like, next season, man, Tampa Bay will be a lot stronger team. They'll be a way better team.
I agree with that. I believe this run is going to give them the experience that they need. It's also going to let the brass look at the team and say, this is what we need to do to build on it. You got to remember, for whatever reason, they got rid of Lovie Smith, I thought, prematurely. The coach that they replaced him with did a pretty good job this season, but he's a first-year guy, so they got a lot to build on. Hopefully they can acquire a few players through draft or free agency to fill some holes, but I think they just need to develop a little bit more. And one thing about football, you only have 16 games. That's not a long time. It's a long time as in time, but because it's like 4 or 5 months in the course of a season. But it's not a long time as in games. You think about 16 games is 3 weeks in baseball. 16 games is a month in basketball. But 16 games is over 4 months in football. So it's really not enough time to really get it together, turn it around, gel, get chemistry, especially when you got new personnel as far as coaching staff, maybe players coming in. So it's really not enough time. But I agree with you. The future is going to look bright for Tampa Bay. They may have to continue to take baby steps, but sometime soon they're going to be a formidable opponent to the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know where Carolina goes from here, Mel. I think next year Tampa Bay continues to rise above them because every year Carolina loses players and never seem to replace those players. Whether it's Greg Hardy, Steve Smith, Josh Norman. So I don't know what happens. Are they looking to keep payroll down or are they just being poorly managed right now? But we'll see. Because something's got to be done in the offseason with Carolina. They have too much talent at the quarterback position to watch this team just continue to slide.
Yeah, this was an embarrassing season for them.
I agree.
This was a real embarrassing season.
I agree.
For the boys to go 15-1 last season, going with the Super Bowl, even though they lost.
Right.
But to come back and have this season, these are the win, a lot of losses. But
yeah.
Good look ever, man.
And you know what too? Not to let Denver off the hook, but this might be one of those years where both teams that went to the Super Bowl does not even make it back to the playoffs. Because Denver is on a verge of not making it to the playoffs, especially if they lose tomorrow night in Kansas City.
Let me ask you this here. As far as on the AFC side, who do you think is the real threat to the New England Patriots in the playoffs?
Well, with Derek Carr going down with a broken fibula today, I really don't see anybody a threat for New England unless Pittsburgh just get clutch play out of Ben, which is possible. I don't think Alex Smith can win you a game in Kansas City with Kansas City. he can manage a game, but I just don't think he can win a game. And if you got to go up into Foxborough, your quarterback is going to have to win a game. And I just don't think he can win a game. Big Ben can go there and win a game. He can win a game. You see, but so I'm thinking now that Derek Carr could be lost for the playoffs. I think that Pittsburgh. Yeah.
I had them going for the Super Bowl. I had them going.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for, man.
Yeah, I thought Derek Carr and Oakland would go to the Super Bowl to meet up against Dallas. That might change.
Now, do you think that, let's say New England went to the Super Bowl, who do you think in the NFC that might make it to the Super Bowl? It'll be a big challenge for New England.
I think that New England could beat everybody in the NFC except for Dallas and Atlanta.
You said that right. You said between them. You said except for everybody, except for Dallas and Atlanta.
Yeah, they'll lose to Dallas and Atlanta.
I'm a Cowboys fan over here with me right now too, Jordan. So you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that Dallas will control the game with a running game and keep Brady off the field. I think Elliott will be that special. And I just think that if they face Atlanta in the Super Bowl, I think Brady and them will play into Atlanta's hand and play into a shootout. And I don't think as good as Brady is, I don't think he has enough offense without Gronkowski to keep up with Matt Ryan. So if Atlanta should reach the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, I think they beat New England.
That's real deal.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger to the show. Appreciate the love, man. It was nice chopping it up with you. And I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. And you guys be safe and blessed, all right?
All right, man. Have a good holiday.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, Mel. And there you go, guys. First time caller. That was Mel out of Atlanta. Big Falcon fan. But he touched on a couple of things. But what I respect about Mel's call is that he just wasn't one of those fans that just was like, my team, my team, my team. Yeah, it was pretty fair going across the board. He talked about a couple of things. I gave him some time. And he went from Tampa Bay to Carolina to New England, possible Super Bowl matchup. Yeah, and he wasn't just biased on his own team. Because I understand. Fan is short for fanatic. You know, I get it. So I understand. But that was a good call. So listen, I want to appreciate, I want to shout out rather my sister for tuning in and showing love and talking about Cam Newton. I want to shout out my cousin Lisa. First time seeing her aboard. She's speaking to me and sending texts. And I definitely want to shout out Greg, the guru, for calling in as always. And to my guy Mel for first time call. I want to thank you guys for calling in. And, still some football left to watch tonight. And tomorrow, you got the 5 NBA games and 2 more big football games. So the sports weekend will continue. Too bad there wasn't a good boxing match on tonight. That's the only thing that's missing. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show love to everybody who's tuning in out there. I want to wish y'all all a Merry Christmas and a safe holiday. And I hope Santa has something under the tree for you. And remember, the reason for the season. All right? Y'all have a good day. Have a good night. And we'll chop it up tomorrow. Peace and blessings. See you in 24. This is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.